Hey friends, John here from Proverbs 27:9 Fragrances. Today I'm going to be doing an unboxing and first impression from my very first fragrance from this particular house. So what's it going to be? See that shortly. All right, again, if you would, go ahead and make sure you're subscribed to the channel and that you got the notifications turned on. That way you're notified every time we upload this sweet smelling fragrance related content. Going to be doing an unboxing and a first impression today of a fragrance house that I've never tried. And I believe the fragrance house is Gisada. And I don't remember what the name of the fragrance is. So let's look. You already know because you see it in the thumbnail. So this is Ambassador Intense. Eau de Parfum concentration, 3.4 ounce, 100 ml. And we'll get the shrink wrap off, and then that way we can kind of take a look at the box a little bit better. I've not watched any reviews on this fragrance, and you may be thinking it's kind of crazy to buy a fragrance and haven't even seen a review for it. I got this from Joma's shop, I believe. Yep, and it was in with another order that I did with Leighton and Dumont. The Nitro Intense, which I did a first impression on both of those fragrances. And I'll have full reviews of both of those coming up shortly. And you might want to watch at least the Dumont Intense review, because my opinion on that fragrance has changed dramatically, I would say. So, and that's the way it is a lot of times, with me anyways, particular. I'll try a fragrance. I have an idea of what I think it should smell like, and when it doesn't match that, many times I'm disappointed or I don't think I like it. And then I'll come back to it later and may actually not just like it, but love it. Guerlain Heritage. It's a fragrance I smelled, thought, oh, that's not for me, stuck it in a drawer. Come back to it like a year and a half later, it was like, this is amazing. Zaharoff Signature Pour On. One of my top probably 3 favorite fragrances of all time, of everything that I've owned. Smelled it. I thought, that smells okay. It just doesn't smell like my style. Put it in a drawer. What was my style at the time? It was Sauvage. It was Acqua di Gio. It was, Profumo, Prada Carbon, things like that. Come back to it later, and it's literally goes back and forth between being my absolute favorite fragrance and being in my top 5 for sure at all times. So, my first impression, don't put a whole lot of stock in it, basically. I'm just going to tell you what I think about it at first, and then I'll come back and do a full review later, okay? So this is Gisada, Switzerland, Ambassador Intense, and the reason why I bought it is because it's supposed to be in a similar vein to Dior, Sauvage Elixir, to Raja, Apex, to things like that. Beast mode fragrances, sweet, woody, lavender, all the things that I kind of like, which I'm not real big on sweet, but I like mildly sweet fragrances. And so, pull it out. Nice and secure. You see it's got that little circle in there. I don't know anything about this house. I don't know if this is a clone house or if this is a niche house or an indie house or what. So let me know down in the comments about it. But presentation wise, I like the bottle. I'll show you. So it's round. Here's the bottom. Upside down, of course, always. But here, look at this. Ah, you got some information on the top here. Nice little band that goes around the top. Let's see. Magnetic lid. So that's nice. So let's see. Look at the sprayer. Good sprayer once it started going. In the air, citrusy. So let's see. And what I'm going to do on this first impression is I am going to let it dry down for about 15 or 20 minutes and come back and give you my full first impression. So I'm going to give you my first impression of the initial blast and then about 20 minutes into the dry down. Full review, I'll wear it, for days and days, and I'll know how it smells after 2 hours, after 6 hours, 8 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, if you can even smell it past that. First impression, like for instance, when I did the Dumont, I didn't like it at first. That fragrance needs about 20 minutes to settle down, and then it changes, and I'll tell you about that in the full review. So I will give Ambassador Intense, at least the treatment of getting a 20-minute dry down in here. But initial blast smells really good. I would say on the initial blast, it reminds me more of Bleu de Chanel than Sauvage Elixir. Very citrusy, lots of different citruses. Bergamot, smells like maybe some, grapefruit. Maybe either some lemon or some mandarin or something in that vein. Woody. Again, reminds me a lot of Bleu de Chanel. It doesn't smell like a Bleu de Chanel clone, but very mass appealing, I would say. Very, very not Sauvage Elixir-esque, at least at this point. I'm not smelling a ton of lavender, and I was kind of hoping for that. But I do think this is going to be a very good smelling fragrance and a very likable and crowd pleasing fragrance. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop it there. I'm gonna let it dry down for 20 minutes, come back and finish up on my first impression of Ambassador Intense from the house of Gisada.
2 hours later.
All right, I'm back. It's been quite a bit longer than I anticipated waiting. I had some folks come into my office. So it's been about almost an hour and 45 minutes. And this fragrance has changed quite a bit. It went from being very heavily citrus. Of course, when the citrus has started to fade off, it got a little bit of a smoky nature in around that 20 to 25 minute mark. I don't know, kind of like incensey a little bit. And then the lavender and the tonka bean started to come in and really shine. There's some subtle spiciness to it, like not really spiciness, but just some, almost got like some Christmassy vibes a little bit. Nothing to the tune of Tobacco Vanille or, Burberry London or anything like that. Spice Bomb, Extreme. But there is definitely some spices going on. Some, I don't know if it's cinnamon, maybe nutmeg, some like cardamom, saffron, something in that vein. It's very nice, very smooth. It's not sharp. I did go back and look through on Fragrantica the fragrances that other people compared this to. I don't get any of them. They're like Sauvage Elixir. I mean, not really. I saw Zaharoff Signature Pour On. Not at all. I saw a Ventus on there, Ventus Absolute. I don't get any of that. Even in the opening, I'm going to do the opening again. There's a big blast of sweet, fruity citrus. Tons of woods too. It's very woody. So again, to me, it reminds me more of something in the Bleu de Chanel like parfum. If he was going to do a Bleu de Chanel elixir. Then when it starts to fade down and that tonka bean and lavender come out, it smells like, and don't take this the wrong way, but it smells like a much more mature version of Ultramall. It's not youthfully over the top sweet and gummy like Ultramall, but if you made Ultramall something that a more mature 35-year-old man would want to wear rather than a 25-year-old man, you know, it's kind of in that vein. It doesn't really smell like Bleu de Chanel or Ultramall, but it smells in that vein if you was to make it a much more masculine, woody, tone down the sweetness, you know, kind of in that ballpark. So I really like it. It's not what I was expecting. I'm excited to see how it either grows on me or, you know, goes away from me over the next couple of weeks. I do think it's a safe fragrance. I think if you like anything like, you know, Bleu de Chanel or Missoni Pour Homme or Ultramall or, you know, Sauvage or Aventus or anything like that, it's definitely in that genre. It's in that mass appealing. A little more interesting than a designer. It's got a little bit of I'd say maybe a little bit of a niche or an indie kick to it. There's some, it's not oody or anything, but there's some kind of dark resinous something lurking in the background there. Again, like incensey or a little bit of a burning leathery note, smoky leathery note, something like that. So it smells really good, really safe. You know, I can't really say on performance, but projection is real good. You know, it's strong. So when you at least when you first couple hours, it's reaching out there. I'd say it's probably a pretty good performer, but we'll see. Let me know your thoughts on Gisada Ambassador Intense Eau de Parfum from Gisard, Switzerland. Leave me a comment, like, subscribe, do all those things. Till we see you down the road, I say God bless. Frag on, Frag fam.